Alright, here we are today with our new inventory coming to you from HANKSTERS Hot Rods here in Homer City. I, by the way, am John. I'm back with you here today. I was off for a few days on vacation. Glad to be back now. So again, we've got a 1970 Dodge Challenger RT. It is a real RT, and this car was originally a V-code car. You will see that from the VIN number on the website there. And we do still retain the 440 6-pack in here. However, when we get to that, we'll explain to you that situation. It's a non-original motor, but it's date correct right down to the month. So you've got the next best thing in this car. So as we're standing here looking at the car, obviously you can see that this still retains the original color. This was the dark burnt orange metallic. That's the car originally this car came from, and it still remains that same color. The paint on it's nice and smooth and shiny, and as I always do, I always stand at one side of the car here, look straight down the side of the car to see if I see any deviations in the body panels on the car. So your fender to door to your quarter panel, I look to make sure all of that is in line, and on this car we can tell you that it is all in line. So again, I don't see any deviations in the actual elevation between your fender to your door, and then also from your door to your rear quarter panel back there. Body is nice and straight down the sides, and by what I mean by that is the actual panels themselves. As you look at the fender, it's straight. The door is straight. Quarter panel is nice and straight as well. So again, with our car here, we still retain the stock steel hood on here. You can see that we've got the 440 6-pack emblems up on the hood here itself, and that is what's in this car. Our side marker light, bezels, and lenses, those are all in great shape. As you can see here, the bezels are shiny, the lenses are in real good shape. There's no cracks or chips in any of that. As our trim on the car here, you can see we've got all the bright work here, the bright wheel lip moldings, also the bright drip rail molding here. Your mirrors are the chrome mirrors on this car too. You'll also see that we have the Challenger RT script emblems here on the front fender. So again, that is signifying exactly what this car is. And again, you can always look at our fender tag decode. We always do that for you as a courtesy. That way you can see the different options that this car would have come from the factory. And it's going to explain to you in that VIN number breakdown, in that fender tag breakdown, that this car is actually a real RT Challenger. Now on our Challenger here for wheels and tires, we've got the Magnum 500 style chrome steel wheels here with center caps. And those are wrapped in BF Goodrich Radial TA tires for the rubber on the car. Tread on these tires is just like new. And there is a difference in size front to back. The fronts are 215, 55 R15s. The backs are 245, 60 R15s. So it gives it just a little bit of a rake, not very much at all though in those tire sizes there. Now the next thing we look at as far as the body goes on the car is we'll look at our gaps on our door here. So the front gap here, and then you look back here at the rear gap. That you can tell on our car, those are very uniform, pretty much the same front to back. So the door's been fitted real good, fenders adjusted real nice on the car, so all of that stuff falls in line really nice. As I said, we've got the driver's side mirror over here in chrome, and the finish on that is really good too. There's no pitting, nice and shiny, polished up chrome. I've already mentioned that drip rail molding here. Now our car, you obviously can see we've got the white vinyl top. The vinyl top's in excellent condition. As far as these tops go, when they're white, they're kind of hard to keep clean, but this car is really, really nice. It's been cleaned up nice and detailed, so again, that top is in real good shape too. I don't see any kind of rips or tears or any fraying of the stitching or anything in that top either. That's all nice. As I feel along the drip rail here, along the rain gutter, everything feels nice and smooth in there. Even when I come down around the backside, right along your trim here, your molding, that's where you'll see some problems sometimes on these cars with the vinyl tops. But this is nice and smooth the whole way across that bottom edge there. Now again, as we always do, we'll open up our door. and just take a quick peek to the inside here. Now you can see we've got all our stickers here that should be on the door. You've got the rubber bump stops on the top and the bottom. All of our weather stripping and our seals are all in great shape. They look practically brand new. Even up along the top here, it's all nice and soft yet. No tears, no rips or cracks and any of that. So again, once that window's up, it's going to give you a nice seal there. And as you can see, our Challenger's got the burnt orange interior in it too. This is all vinyl interior, got the factory dash, everything, the carpeting, the headliner, that's all the burnt orange there. We've got all the seat belts, the factory center console, again, just to name a few things. Now again, we will go inside here a little later and check out that interior, but for right now, for our purposes, that's all we really need to go over there. As we come back to the quarter panel, I've already said the body panel on this, nice and straight the whole way down the side of the car. Our bright wheel lip moldings along with those Magnum 500 wheels and the BF Goodrich rubber. You also see our car has the bumblebee stripe on the back end of it. Alright, now that we're around the back side of our Challenger RT here, we're going to take a look at all the stuff we normally do. We start up here at our rear glass, the molding around our rear glass. You can see how nice and highly polished it is around there. The glass itself is in really good condition. It's probably got a slight tint to it, and it's scratch-free, chip-free, and crack-free. So none of that stuff is in this glass. Looks really, really good. Again, you can see another shot there of the vinyl top the whole way around. Smooth the whole way around all of these moldings here. So again, that is really good on a car like this that has that vinyl top. Now as we come down here to our trunk lid, again, this car here does not have any kind of like a trunk wing or anything like that. It's all just flat trunk, steel. And as we check our elevations and our gaps the whole way around here, you can see that all of that is really good in this car. Elevations with the quarter panels are real good. Elevations with your rear panel right under the window here, those are excellent too. And again, our gaps the whole way around, those are very uniform the whole way. As I mentioned earlier, we've got that bumblebee stripe back here. We've got the Challenger RT script emblem back here too on the trunk lid. All of your bright work, your moldings the whole way around on the lip of your trunk, around the quarter panels here, your tail lights, everything. Those are all in great shape. There's no cracks or chips in any of our tail light lenses. You've got your backup light right here in the center. Of course, you've got Dodge right through there. You've got the nice, highly polished up chrome rear bumper. Matches the front one there. The little bumperettes down here. Then you do have the box exhaust tips down here too in that rear lower valance there. So again, everything's all real nice back here. We're going to open our trunk lid up. We're going to take a look inside there now momentarily. And here we are. We've got our trunk lid open. You can see that we've got that dark burnt orange metallic paint that continues on the underside of the trunk lid here. You've got your jack instruction decal right here, as you should have from the factory. The little rubber bump stops up here, those are all in place as they should be. Your weather stripping or your trunk seal the whole way around here meets perfectly right here in the center. Everything's nice and soft the whole way around. So again, that's going to seal up real nice. Even your rain gutters through here is to where your water would run down. Those are all in excellent shape the whole way around and all painted as they should be. Now inside of our trunk, the trunk floor is excellent in this car. We've got a very nice trunk mat in here. I don't think there's a mark on this thing. You've got the lug wrench in here. You've got the hold down for your spare tire. You've got the bottom base plate for your jack. And you also have the jack in here as well, the original bumper jack. So all of that's in there. The only thing that's missing is that spare tire. So you've got all the necessary stuff other than that inside here. All in great shape. The trunk hinges, those are in great shape. The springs that hold those up, those are intact and working as they should be. So everything back here at the rear section of our car is all in great condition there. All right, now here we are on the passenger side of our 70 Challenger RT. Again, not too much really to go over here other than, you know, the things that we've already checked out. So first, starting at the rear of the car and looking all the way up to the tip of that front fender. We're going to look at the straightness of the panels, the metal, and we'll also look at our elevations when we compare our quarter panel to the door and door to the front fender. So again, body metal itself, nice and straight the whole way down the side of the car. As far as the elevations from the quarter panel to the door and door to front fender, everything is all in line with one another here. It looks great down the side of this car. As I mentioned earlier, up front on the other side, our bezels around all of our side marker lights are very nice, nicely polished up, and the lenses are in great shape. There's no chips or cracks in any of those. Of course, we've got our iconic fuel door here that most all of your Mopars are going to have and kind of sets them apart from any other car. Nice chrome fuel cap lid here that pops open when you need to fuel up. Real nice looking accessory on these cars. Again, I've mentioned our moldings the whole way around, all the bright work. We've got the trim around the vinyl top, the drip rail moldings, and the wheel lip moldings. I've also mentioned those Magnum 500 wheels and the BF Goodrich radial T8 tires that's on this car. Now the wheels are all 15-inch wheels. Again, you'll see that in the tire size as well whenever you have the 15-inch tires. The other thing, as I said on the other side, that we always look at is our gaps on our doors. So we look at our rear gap, and then you also look at the front gap and just see how close those are. And again, on this side, very, very close, very uniform front to back. So again, door panel alignment has been adjusted very nicely with the fender alignment and even falling in line with that quarter panel. Again, as I feel up around the rain gutter here of our car, I can tell you that that's nice and smooth through there. Again, it's kind of hard to look on a vinyl top car because you're all covered up, but you can feel, and it's nice and straight the whole way through there. Again, that vinyl top from this side now, you can look at it and see how great shape it is. Again, along the seams here, you don't see any seams pulling or ripping or any holes or tears. Again, a very, very nice white vinyl top on this car. Makes it look really classy, I think. So as we come to our door, let's open that just like we do the other side. Again, we're going to check out to make sure that we got the rubber bump stops both on the top and the bottom, and we do on both sides. Our weather stripping and seals that go around the door and through our quarter panel here with that door jamb U-seal, all of that stuff is in great shape. Our weather stripping across the top here where your window comes up against, those are in great shape too. So again, you're going to roll that window up, it's going to fit right up in here nice and tight, and it's going to give you a really, really good seal. And again, we're not going to go into depth too much with the interior right now, but you can see that nice burnt orange material in there for your upholstery, your dash, carpeting, all that looks really good in this car, very classy. So we're going to close our door. You can see the door closes very nice and easy, shuts nice and tight. We're going to walk up here a little further now. We're going to see that we've got the antenna here up on the front fender here where it should be. Now this is not a power antenna. You can manually raise the antenna if you needed to go a little bit more for a little better radio reception. Again, you've got that Challenger RT script emblem, and you have the Chrysler logo down there. Now again, a lot of people will look at that and think that you should have that on both sides, but from the factory you only had one. It only came on one side, so that's why you see it there and not on the other fender. Again, we're back up towards the front here. We've got the steel hood, the 446 pack emblems on the side of the scoops here. So again, that does signify what is in this for an engine. And now we've come to the front of the car. And finally, we made it to the front end of our 1970 Challenger RT. So again, we've already mentioned we've got an all steel hood here. This is your factory steel hood. You can look the whole way down the side here, both sides. Your gap between your fender and your hood on both sides is the same on this car. Your elevation as far as your up and down with your fenders is really good on this car. Now again, this car has the hood pins in, you can see that. So naturally with all these cars, once you latch them with the latch, they do have a little bit of spring to them, then you put your hood pins in there. So again, that's the way these cars were made from the factory. This was a factory option for these cars. Now you see we do have The hood scoops here, those are painted that same dark burnt orange metallic paint as the rest of the exterior car, so everything looks nice there. You've got the Dodge badging across the front of the hood here too, and all of those little letters there, those are in very nice condition on this car. Of course, all of the bright work now, all of your trim around your hood, around your front fenders here, the eyebrows, all of that is in really good shape, polished up real nice. Even that front bumper, again, highly polished chrome front bumper with the little bumperettes here too. Now your grill, the grill's in excellent shape too. Your all plastic grill is all intact too. There's no pieces whatsoever that are cracked or broke out of this grill. It's in very nice shape. Your headlights, traditional sealed beam units. You've got your high beam and your low beam lights here, and all of those lenses are glass. There's no chips or cracks in any of those either, so that's in good shape. You've got the Challenger RT script in the grill there also, and that's in great shape. The only thing you have down below now, your lower valance, you've got your parking lights or your turn signal indicators down there. Those lenses are in great shape too. The amber lenses look good on this car. So at this time, we're going to go ahead, we're going to pull our hood pins here, and we will pull this hood open and take a look at what we have in here for our engine. So, as we raise our hood, again, notice that same thing with our trunk. We've got that dark burnt orange metallic paint on the underside of our hood, all of which is nice and shiny, so they finished it up real nice. You've got your seal here that runs the whole way across horizontal here on your hood. And then of course underneath you see your engine. Now everything underneath here looks pretty stock appearing on this car. You've got the factory style air cleaner on top with the 446 pack decal on there, which again does signify what is in this car. As far as the carburetors go, again you've got the 6-pack setup on there. Then right below that, it looks like they have upgraded to an Edelbrock aluminum intake. All of which is painted all orange just to make it look all stock appearing underneath here. Just the stock cast heads. You've got a set of painted aluminum valve covers here that's got the breather and the PCV valve in it. For the exhaust work on this car, you do still retain the stock cast exhaust manifolds for this car, but it is a dual exhaust car all the way out the back with those boxed exhaust tips on there as well. You've got a stock 26-inch radiator here. Again, that is the option this car would have come with. All of your heater lines are hooked up. Now as far as ignition system on this car goes, looks like they've retained the stock appearance with that too. They've got the stock distributor and a stock style coil. They do have a nice set of Chrysler spark plug wires in here, so everything looks correct on this car. You've got power brakes back there too. You can see that on the firewall. And then this car is a manual steering car as well. As far as cooling goes, as I already said, we got the 26-inch radiator, but we do have a 7-blade clutch fan on here, along with the correct fan shroud for this car. Now again, I've mentioned this is not the original motor for this car, but it is a 440 cubic inch Mopar engine, and it is date correct, even right down to the actual month that it should have been for this car. So again, it is the absolute next best thing to that. And then as far as everything else, behind this engine, we have a 4-speed manual transmission. And then further on back to finish out your drive line, your drivetrain on this car, you've got the Dana 60 rear end. This car came with the option of the Super Track Pack, which was that Dana 60 that had the 410 gear in it. So that's what this car does retain. And again, that's all decoded on that fender tag, which is in place underneath the hood on this car on the fender. So that's really about everything that we have to go over underneath our hood here. Okay, so here we are inside of our 1970 Challenge RT, our dark burnt orange exterior. And to go along with that exterior, of course, we've got the burnt orange all vinyl interior here. So again, everything on the inside of this car is the burnt orange. Starting out at the door panels, you can take a look at those. Full length door panels on this car, and they are in excellent shape, as you can tell there from the video. As we look a little further to the inside of the car, we're going to look at our dash here. Again, all burnt orange. You've got the dash here, it's factory dash, burnt orange. We've got the factory instrumentation too in this car. We've got the 150 mile an hour speedo over there. We've got a in-dash tack. We've got the fuel, oil, water temperature, and alternator gauge all in one unit in there. And then the very last gauge here to the right of our steering wheel, that is the factory clock for this car. We'll come down just a little further here and take a look at our steering wheel. This is the factory steering wheel, the factory column, and it also you can see everything's done in that burnt orange. Down here in the center of our car, we've got the factory 4-speed center console. Again, burnt orange. It does have a little bit of wood grain trim. You've got the pistol grip 4-speed shifter here, which of course has the wood grain trim on it. And then you also have the wood grain trim up there on your dash panel as well, your gauge panel. Now again, to the left of the steering column there, we've got the factory heater controls over there. So they've retained that in the car yet. Then to the right of our steering column, they have upgraded the radio in this car. They've gone with a Sony AM/FM CD player in it. So again, it's just going to give you a little better option there as far as music that you can listen to while you're out cruising around in the vehicle. As far as the seats go, we've got the high back bucket seats in the front here. We've got the seats in the back there, all of which are upholstered in that same burnt orange matching upholstery there. Our rear panels are all the same too as what our front panels are. The sail panels in this car are excellent condition. The headliner also burnt orange. It's in perfect condition. It's strung up nice and tight, so all of the necessary bows are there. There's no rips or tears in this headliner at all. Our sun visors fit nice and tight in here. Again, burnt orange, and the material on these is just like new. They look great, and as you can see right there, I put one down, put it back up. It stays up. It does not fall back down again. We've got all of the seat belts in this car too, the front belts, the rear belts, and you also have the shoulder harness belt that's strapped up along the headliner here too. As far as the rest of everything goes here, as far as the dash goes, you got your Challenger script emblems up here as you should. Your glove box is in great shape here, opens and closes nice. You've got your vent levers down here also, and that's your carpeting too. Burnt orange, it's in great shape. I don't see any tears or rips, don't see any fading in it either. All of this interior just looked great. Very classy looking car here with the color combination. So again, I think you're going to love all of this. All right, here we are now. We're underneath our 1970. This is our Dodge Challenger RT. We've got it up on the lift so that we can see just how nice the underside of this car is. And whenever I first got underneath here, I was amazed at how nice this car really is. So we want to definitely go over that with you guys out there so that you can see also for yourselves just how nice it is. So starting up at the front, as we always do, we're going to talk a little bit about the suspension, a little about the steering components, and of course the braking components that are underneath here. So as far as suspension, this is all of your factory stuff here. You've got the torsion bar front suspension here. So all of this stuff looks to be in great shape. Bushing, everything like that looks good. You got the front sway bar here. Your frame mount bushings, those are in great shape. The sway bar end links, the bushings on those are in great shape also. Everything looks to be fairly new here. Bushings aren't cracked or squashed or anything like that. They're in real good shape here. As we go deeper into the suspension, our lower control arms, again, this is all factory stuff, but you can see everything's been painted up very, very nicely. All the bolts are even in great shape underneath here, and ball joints, both your lower ball joint as well as your top ball joints on your control arms. Those are in great shape, and you can tell that things have been maintained underneath here very, very nicely. All of your bolts and some of your components, they've been paint marked off like they should have been from the factory to show that things were checked over back then. Even your steering components here, you've got your center link, you can see your bolts have the orange paint on those to make sure that they were checked over from the factory and tightened down with the cotter pins in where they should be. Your tie rods, ball joints on those, all the little rubber dust boots, those are all intact everywhere that you've got one. They're not split or cracked or missing, they're all there. And you can tell once again that everything's been maintained very, very well on this car. Of course, along with your stock lower control arms, you've got the stock upper A-arms on this car as well. Shocks on the car look to have been replaced not too awfully long ago. The paint is still very nice on those. I'm not sure exactly name brand on them. They're probably just a stock shock, both front and rear. But yeah, everything looks to be done and gone over. Again, this car was a rotisserie restoration, so I'm sure every nut and bolt and every piece of suspension and steering on this car has been gone over thoroughly on this car. Now, as far as the braking components for the front end here, we do have power brakes. This is a front disc brake car, so disc brakes up front, and there's nothing out of the norm there either. It's just stock factory components that you can go to your local auto parts store and buy components for if you need to replace certain things. So that's it for steering, suspension, and braking. Again, as far as wheels go, we've got the Magnum 500 style 15-inch wheels, front and rear, and we have BF Goodrich rubber the whole way around on this particular car. As far as driveline, we'll go through that here real quick. Again, we've already discussed that our motor that's in this car, it's not the original, but we do have a date correct right down to the month 440 cubic inch Mopar 6-pack in this car. So again, that is what this would have had, a real V-code car. That is your engine. We've got the 4-speed manual transmission here. Everything, as I'm looking at it, looks to be very dry underneath here. As far as the flywheel cover, it is here. So it's intact, so that's going to help keep any dirt or debris out of that flywheel and prevent any premature malfunction there. If a tooth gets chipped off or something, that's going to help prevent that. As far as coming back here then for our transmission mount, you can see that right here. It's in excellent shape. You can see all of our frame bracing here across. That's in great shape. Our torsion bars, I can look up in here even and see that everything's been greased up very well in there. So again, that's going to keep things operating for a good long time on this particular car. Drive shaft, we've got that up here. Now this particular drive shaft, it's been balanced. It looks to be in great shape, painted up. Then we come back here into our rear end. Now again, as I mentioned earlier, this is the Dana 60, and as our car came equipped from the factory, had the Super Track Pack on it. So that was your Dana 60 with your 410 gear in there. And this is also a, looks like it's a posi unit in there also, which makes sense with the Super Track Pack. As far as the floors go on this car, I mean, you can just look underneath here. These floors are flawless on this car. As you come back, you can see all of the little rubber caps in here that cover up any of those, like the holes that they would have put in from the factory for like your water and so forth to escape. All of your little drain plugs, those are, every one of them are all intact here in this car. You can see these are the factory floors. They've got all of the stamping lines and marks and so forth in them here underneath too. And you can also see that when they did this car, they went over it just with a light coating of undercoating. It's not real thick, just real light, and we left it as such. It's just the way they did it when they did their rotisserie restoration. Now our particular car, all new brake lines, all routed up along the side of the car. It's got that spiral wrap around them. Anywhere that there is a sharp bend, they put that on there. That kind of helps prevent against any kinking in any of the lines. We've got fuel lines too that are run in this car, all of which are brand new, and same thing, got the little spiral wrapping around all of it. Emergency brake, it is intact here. You've got your cable here, your intermediate. Of course, the front's up ahead of that, all hooked up. comes back to your dual cables here for your drum brakes, for your e-brake there. So again, that's all been routed and plumbed as it should be. Rear suspension on the car. You've got multi-leaf rear suspension. And then if we work our way back to the front here for just a minute, the exhaust, that's the other big thing that we always take a look at. You can see we've got the dual exhaust here coming all the way from the stock cast exhaust manifolds back into your mandrel bent tubing here, all the way back. You've got these small, kind of like a turbo style muffler almost, but they're a real small muffler there, as you can see, going back into your resonator tips back here with those boxed exhaust tips to finish out the whole exhaust system on the car. So again, everything underneath here, as you can see, looks to be in great condition. They did a real nice job when they did the restoration on this car. And again, rear end wise, transmission, I look at all that stuff and everything looks to be good and dry on this car, so I see no signs of any leaks that you would encounter. Of course, they are old cars, and it's not out of the ordinary for something like that to show its head at some point in time. But again, just all general maintenance stuff that you have on these cars. But as it sits, we are dry at the transmission, we are dry at the rear end, and up at the engine, we are dry also. So again, underside is great on this car. So we're going to get this down off the lift now, and we'll fire that motor up. That way you get to hear that big 440 in there, listen to it hum a little bit, and then if you have any extra questions or anything at all, requests, you can always get in touch with us either by phone or by email, or you can visit our website at www.hanksters.com.